the presence of Humph runs through the first part of the book, because Humphrey Littleton is going through his last days, kind of as you're writing it. It's very touching. I mean, clearly, I'm sure you all listen to the programme for ages and ages, to Clue, and we all know Humph, but we didn't know him, and you did. And he's a very strong presence in the first part of the book.
Well, yeah, because when I started writing it, I was working very closely with Humph, because we'd started a tour, I'm sorry, I haven't a clue, without doing necessarily recording it. For years we'd said we should just take this out on the road because we get bugger all money from the BBC. So we could actually do this in theatres. People would come, and we did somebody made throw that lady out. I think that's actually my part. No, it's not. I'm not doing all great. It's not her fault, she's from the north. Oh, I do apologise. But, I can't remember what I was talking about. I'm getting off the train. Yeah, well, we were doing the Clue tour, and it meant that rather than just, because I'm sorry, happened to Clue, it's only 12 shows a year, so there's 6 recordings, double recordings. So we record 2 shows at once. So when you hear, and this week we're back in Cardiff, of course it's 20 minutes later. We decided to do this tour, and it meant being with Humph night after night, and sitting in cars and trains and sitting in hotels. And the others have known, I mean, Barry Cryer had known Humph for 50 years and never had his phone number, because people don't give Barry their phone number. Humph kept his life very, he kept work and family and private life completely separate. He was always charming to everybody, but he didn't want everything mixed in. And then towards the end of his life, he really opened up, and families started coming along to the shows. Members of the band started to come because they were driving him around increasingly. And he really started to open up and become much more sociable. He'd always been absolutely charming and engaging, but we all sort of got very close as a little family touring around. And he was just such an extraordinary and marvellous man, and even though he was nearly 87 when he died, it just seemed cruelly early. It just seemed completely wrong, And even now we do the show, and with Jack Dee is taking over, and it's a different show, and it's still working because the show kind of survived. We lost Willie Rushton, I was lucky enough to work with once before Willie died. The show changes and it adapts, but you sort of feel that Humph should be there, even though you're having a great time, you sort of keep thinking, well, when's Humph going to arrive, because he was such a massive, and I think in so many people's lives, and because of music as well. I mean, people came along to see Clue and said, come to Humph and say, I saw you in 1953, and yeah, he's such a popular and revered man. And it was all during that time that I was writing the book, and then we lost him in the course of it, and I was still writing it. And it was a terrible blow. I've been very unlucky in terms of friends in the last few years, and especially people I work with. So I'm feeling a bit like a jinx, actually, despite my life.
I don't think it's your fault. Yeah. I mean, there's one mystery which all of us would like to know the answer, and it's not the rules of Mornington Crescent, but there's always that moment at the start of the show when they introduce Samantha in this great roar of laughter. What happens at that moment, for those who have been in the audience?
Nothing. I'm very sorry to say Samantha doesn't exist. Humph was once asked, does Samantha exist? And he said, of course she does, but Colin Sell doesn't. But Colin does. Colin's actually a music teacher and does exist. It's well, he's been a great pianist and team player. But no, there is no Samantha, I'm afraid to say. And there are no rules to Mornington Crescent. It's just, and I'm destroying everything. Yeah, Barry Cryer is really a woman.